Steelseries Apex TKL, it's back with a 9th variant and honestly, with a bit of progress and unfortunately a bit of recession. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety of Wooks Triple XL. And I've been given both of the new Apex, the Pro TKL and the non-TKL, for review, and I've been fiddling with them for now about a week. And I'm very glad I did, because these are very, very expensive items and I didn't want to just make willy-nilly content on them. Shame. And then you buy something and then it's, you know, a $4,500 mistake potentially. These are not cheap. That's the first sort of bullet point of the presentation. The Steelseries is continuing to go for that ultra premium. We are Mercedes-Benz, Ferrari and Lamborghini all in one. Now, to preface this review, I am actually quite a big Steelseries fan. I've been a fan of the brand basically since Ikari days and my first exposure to them. I've used Sensei 10 and Kana and even Kinsey V2, which are all just varying sizes of basically the same mouse for a very, very long time. I've been using Steelseries, I mean, even Rival 300 if I think about it. That and the Logitech MX518 is basically my last decade of gaming. So I'm clearly quite a fan of the brand, and that's why it pains me to bring you what I think is maybe going to be a little bit of a downturn with this keyboard, because the previous Apex Pro TKL that I reviewed was pretty much the best keyboard you could buy, per my opinion, and the price point was a little extreme, over $3,000 for that. But now they're just dialing it up even further, but removing features while they do that, which is very peculiar to me. And even the setup for these keyboards is a little bit peculiar to me. So with the Apex 9 TKL, there's no more screen in the top right. They've taken the LED out. You still get the nice scroll and the button, programmable button underneath that, but that's it. Otherwise, it's just a standard TKL. The magic with this one being, or the special function with this one being, the fact that you can remove the optical switches and put in your own optical switches if you would want to, but optical only. As you'll see by the bracket over there, there's no way that you're going to get a dipole switch into that slot. The optical thing is kind of cool though, because you can actually see it, and I actually did manage to get a close-up, and you can actually see through the switch and see that actuation point or activation switch area that it then has a little prong that goes in and out of, doesn't it? So that's for the Optipoint. And the thing with this being is it's kind of a mini version of the Omnipoint, where you can have it on 1mm or 1.5mm. The fact that it is semi-modular is a big plus for me. These are north-facing LEDs, so you will have to get their keycaps, but they're pretty average for the price from Steelseries, so I'm not mad at that. Other than that, however, what you see is what you get. And $3,500 puts it squarely in the crosshairs of other modular keyboards, where you can put in any dipole switch or any keycap set that you want. So it's a good direction that they're going in. I just don't think that at the price point it makes a lot of sense with that. Another thing that Steelseries really does need to attend to is lubrication on the stabilizers. The tab, caps and shift aren't too bad, but even just comparing it to the Omnipoint switch, you can hear it's like a lot less abrasive. It's almost like scratchy on these. There's quite a lot of like jiggle and stuff from it. Spacebar is like almost nightmarish. Even compared to the Omnipoint. You can hear that stabilizer squeaking, but it doesn't rattle quite as bad as the Omnipoint switches. So I don't know if I like the switches. I honestly don't like the feel of them very much. I also found that if I was just resting my hand on the keyboard, it would often press a key by mistake because of how sensitive they are. So for me personally, I don't really like the way it looks and feels from that perspective. I went through the build in the keyboard before in another video, which I'll pop out at the top over here for you. And thereon, I'm pretty happy. They've got a very straightforward setup that's going to be easy to work with and clean, and easy to maintain as well. Should be pretty easy to modify even. We'll have to see as they roll out through the custom keyboard environment to see what happens with the non-TKL. But now moving over to the Pro. The Pro is a lot more of what I was expecting for this generation and from these keyboards. It comes with this wrist rest. I've seen some of the versions have 2.4 gigahertz and Bluetooth in them. This one doesn't. I can't find a dongle anywhere. There's no Bluetooth available on this from what I can tell. So I think this is maybe a slightly different model to what will be resold to you. If it's got wireless and Bluetooth capability as well, that brings its stonks way up, as I'm sure you will agree, because then you could just Bluetooth to your laptop or something to that effect, which would be very nice to have. The wrist rest is really nice to have. I really like the soft rubberizing that it's got on it. And it's not a fingerprint hazard. As you can see, swiping my hands across it as much as I possibly can, it's not picking up any of my fingerprints. It is a bit of a dust hazard though, so it will pick that up, but I think just a wipe with a damp microfiber cloth and it's going to be spotless. So really good job on that Steelseries. Magnetically attached as well, so there's no clips or funny things to break. Rubberizing on the bottom. Done a nice job in including that. The screen on this as well is exactly what I saw with the previous Apex Pro TKL, and that's what I was expecting. Honestly, I thought they would have that on the 9. I'm very surprised they didn't at the price point, to be honest. This is quite a lot more expensive. It's like another grand on top, but then you've got the Omnipoint switch, which you can adjust by 0.2 millimeter in the software. You can adjust 0.4 directly on the keyboard. You can do macros directly on the keyboard, delete them and add them. Like, there's a lot of functions on this keyboard. I mean, they even put Snake in now, so you can, if you're bored and you're chilling at a LAN event or something waiting for your game to start, you could even play Snake on your keyboard, which is kind of cool to have. This is really the one between the two that I absolutely love. The Omnipoint switches feel significantly better. The audio even, I mean, like I said, is just... And they're going into the same deck. That's the thing that's insane to me, is that they're basically identical. It's just the screen on the top right over here that's been added. There's no real difference between them, but the Omnipoint is significantly better. This I would easily put in my top 5 keyboards that you can buy that aren't modular, etc. Because you basically have a modular. Having an Omnipoint, you can set your activation point however you want. It's got 2-in-1 as well, so if you press in a little bit, it'll be one function. You press in more, it can be another function. Omnipoint's really cool. It is really cool. It does work incredibly well, and the software is incredibly detailed to take care of that. Lighting, etc. on both of these is pretty good. North-facing LED, the shine through is pretty good. Keycaps and stuff, as I discussed in the last video, I'm okay with it. The textured feel and everything is not bad. They could have done a little bit of better job, like around shift and the Steelseries logo key for the function set, etc. Could be a little bit better backlighting on those, especially compared to the previous Apex, which absolutely blew me away. There's literally nothing on the keyboard I would change, just about. A removable Type-C cable would have been about the only thing that I would have changed. I even like that sort of stethoscope cable and stuff. I really like that keyboard. I thought it was extremely unique, and that's why I'm a bit confused as to why Steelseries went in this direction. This one, the Optipoint switch, like I said, I'm not a big fan. This one, if you got the bucks and you want pretty much the best keyboard that Steelseries makes, then this is absolutely the one to go for between the two. They are otherwise, like I say, almost identical. Anywho, that is all I have for you on the new Steelseries TKLs. If you have enjoyed this review, then please do hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.